Well, here they are, the 6 Ravenwing fellows that had all those problems with the Purity Seal can, mucking them up and like making this spider's web cracked grey dust effect all over the entirety of the model, especially showing up badly on the black. But you know, I've recovered them to an extent. These are the ones that I painted back over the awful mess with, and I mean, you can see some remnants of that mess. That isn't highlighted, that's some of that webbing mess still left on it there, and it's just been left with this really sort of stark highlighting effect where I've gone in and just touched up black over again and tried to bring some of the colours back out again to make them more vibrant as much as possible, such as the reds, you know, the colours that are important because they play a very strong secondary thematic role to the Ravenwing, you know, backed up by the redness of their eyes as well. There's always this black with like a red glow sort of effect going on with them. Again, to actually look at the models, aside from the negatives involved in what happened with the spray, the vasing here is again bits of Imperial Guard kit. You can see there the spade and backpack set that have been shoved in under. You can see there's an arm there connected to a hand that's turned grey in the dirt, and it's just a case of, again, you know, people fall and they just drive over the corpses and carry on. Sergeant of the unit. And an interesting thing that people don't understand about Ravenwing is that, yes, their bike squads come in squads of 6, but that is still not a full squad necessarily. Bear in mind also they can combat squad, so they can go 3 and 3 and go off and do different things, but that's just 6 bikers. And then to create the further complement of the squad, you're allowed to put an attack bike and a land speeder. Each of those have 2 Astartes in as well, so 6 add 4 equals 10, so, you know, a full Ravenwing squad does indeed, or squadron, does indeed have 10 Space Marines. But just the bikes component, there's the 6 from the Ravenwing box set. And there was, obviously the new Dark Vengeance guys are a little bit more dynamic, and the models are a lot different. So what I've done is, at least on a few of them here and there, just try to give them a little bit of something different. So this guy, I've got him looking that way somewhat, and obviously the sergeant, this is pretty much the standard pose that he comes with anyway, but this guy in particular is something a bit different, and I worked fairly hard to try and get the bike leaning off like this, and to model him gripping his handlebars and gripping a bolt pistol in this manner, and just to be sort of like driving it along, leaning off sideways, and sort of do some gangster, yo biatch, shoot yo up. And it's not, I know that they wouldn't necessarily fire like that because it isn't the best way to fire, but I can just see him sort of bringing the gun up into a pose and already firing, because he knows the shots will get off even before he straightened it, to get a few shots in, so it'd kind of be like a drive-by, because the guns are straight on, so it's boom, 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 and then he's driving by you and put a couple of shots into your face as he goes past, sort of thing, you know. And that's how I saw it, just like a captured moment in time. That's how I like to see these things sometimes. So, yeah, you know, I've carried on with the same concept to the basing. There's splodges of brown in there to on the actual basing to try and sort of break up the look of that, the same way that you would get with the grey and brown in fantasy, with sort of then the turfs of grass or whatever, just something to try and break the look up. And where I'm going for this really deep sort of urban terrain look, it really does have a danger of ending up looking quite boring and solid, all one colour and such. But you know, it's the look I went for because that's how I see them as troops and see them as operating. So that's the Ravenwing anyway, ready to go. And the salvage job that I just about managed to pull